Absolutely. Thank you so much for staying right there and welcome back. Good morning to you. My good name is Ban Sako, and this is the last conversation of the day. You can engage with us on socials to our Y254 channel. Personally, mine is a Brand Sako 101. In this interesting conversation I'm about to delve into with my guests who are live with me on set, we're going to delve into matters, men, identity, and social media. They say if you don't know who you are, you can literally fall for anything. But I also tend to think that if you want to know who you are, start putting together the things that you don't want to be and then eliminate each of them one by one. Probably the aftermath and the debris could be the things that you like to be, and then you put together and make a graft of the person you want to be. Now, in the advent of social media, everybody's sharing their successes and tremendous achievements they've made in life. As a gentleman who's on a journey to discovering your life and who you are, how has it massively affected you? And that's actually in regards to today's question. We asked you on X, how has social media influenced your life as a male in this era? And that is the question. I'd be glad to sample your feedback. I love it. Each and every time you talk to us, we actually feel and see your feedback. Now, back to my guest in studio, I'm engaging with Ezra Ruto. He's an author alongside Boniface Ododa, who is a youth leader. Karibuni sana.
Asante.
Thank you so much.
And both of you are teachers, by the way, by profession, yeah? Interesting. So when it comes to matters, men, or today in the morning I was telling my co-host, I was watching a TED Talk that was done by, he's called Fraser Smith. He did a TED Talk on the male identity crisis. And in the TED Talk, if you listen closely, there's a part where he says most men do not have figures that they can look up to that can define, you know, a trajectory of their path. And that could probably even touch on fathers and how a father influences a son. Maybe if we were to first of all begin with the question, what is male identity crisis in your understanding?
Yeah, male identity crisis. This is a scenario whereby the society struggles to identify the role of men. Yeah, you see, traditionally, men were taught to be strong people. Yeah, you go hard in everything. But as things stand currently, we have realized that men are also people who have emotions. They have different feelings. A man can cry. A man can boldly stand for their rights. And men can also shout out in the social medias, in the public gatherings, that no, you know, you're infringing my right, whether to a woman or to a fellow man. Yeah.
All right, that's an interesting actually aspect. When you look at, you know, the way we are set up in an African traditional family society setup, as a man you'll always be the leader, yeah, and you're expected to be the leader. But then I believe the tools in which you're brought up and nourished to become a leader as well matter. So the environment contributes a lot to actually, you know, making the man that society expects of you. And speaking of expectation as well, there's societal expectations and individual expectations as a man. So let's say for a young Gen Z who's just, you know, getting out of, you know, the woods, they're trying to figure out who they are. What would you tell them maybe a place where they can begin to start, you know, doing self-evaluation to a point now? You can say, you know what, I'm Ruto, I'm a son, but they're Ruto with a double T. Yeah, I'm Ruto, I'm a son, I'm a brother, or I'm a husband, you know, I'm a family guy. Probably all those are just titles, but understanding who you are as a person in society. So how would you help a Gen Z?
Yeah, I think the main problem now we face as a generation, especially young people, is striking the balance between what Boniface has said, between the balance of a traditional man, between the balance of how the society perceived us. And you know, I always tend to maybe the personal definition of being manly is every one of us is born male by birth, but we become man by being, in that the people that we engage in, how we express ourselves, how we engage in, and how we experience being men. And now when it comes to social media and society now, as a young people, because about 13 million Kenyans are currently active, not the ones who just like, these are people who like, comment, share on social media, 13 million. So every one of us is, and a good number of that is we young people. So striking a balance is basically understanding and doing self-introspection, because the society has mounted pressure in us, and the societal mental pressure on us affects two things. One, it affects your understanding and self-perception as a man, because everyone out here is bragging on social media. As a man, you're expected to, you know, the normal 844 system, especially in Kenya, finish class 8, go to Form 4, do away with campus. After campus, you know, tafuta job kidogo around 3 years, bridge and everything. And then after that now, your mother wants a wife, you need a car. Your friends are all over now. Your friends are posting on social media. And you know, men always use social media to post fake success, majority of people. And women use social media to post fake beauty, many of them. So now you are here, everyone is
Is that
posting.
really true?
I've said majority,
I mean,
but it's really
but
true.
you said in quotes.
Yeah, I've said in quotes.
Go by
I'm
that in
so keen
quotes,
on
okay.
that. So keen on that. So majority of people post fake success on social media. So the society now is mounting pressure on you as a young person. And that is why the rates at which young people are dying, even 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, everyone is on social media. Everyone is trying to portray that this is my version of success. The society is trying to show you this is your version of success. Just to finish it up. I believe now that as a young person, as a young Gen Z, define your own path to success. Let it not be what other people say about success. Disregard the old system. How many people did not go to school and successful and are successful? They did not follow, they broke away from that path and they became success. So it's basically about understanding that this is my version of success. Success is not about money. Success is not about having cars. You define your own way of success. I think the pressure won't get a good part of you.
Impressive. I like your explanation. If you were to be asked the question, who are you? You know, apart from saying my name is Sanko, I am this and this, how would you define yourself? Because I believe knowing who you are, knowing the I, will give you the rest. It will just say to you to literally navigating through the wild of the rest. So if you were to be asked, who are you? How would you break it down?
Good.
You.
A friend of mine called Benny Hinn, I think you know him, Olubengo, wrote a book called 360 Seconds of Destiny. In that when you meet a person for the first 360 seconds and you're asked to define yourself, I think my best definition of me, not just with a name, not just with what I have, but I think my best definition is the future. I think the best definition I can give is the easiest way to know where a person is going to is how they express themselves at the moment. And especially young people, we fail at communication. We fail at, we meet people, we use social media in the wrong way. We don't use it to network. We don't use it to engage with right people with the right conversations at the right time. That's why I'm seeing a lot of celebrities always go wild, saying that whenever you DM me, don't just say a hi and then leave it at that. Tomorrow, hey. The next day, hello. I think my best definition is, hi, my name is blah, blah, blah. This is what I am doing currently. This is what I did, because that's your path, that's your track record. And with that track record, it gives you confidence, which many young people don't have today. They don't have the confidence to express themselves lively. That is why if you ask any other person out there what their name is, they just give you the name. Even if a person has achieved something at a young age, not everyone does that. So I believe it's what you did, what you're doing, and where you are headed to.
Okay, I like your response. Ezra, sorry, Boniface, most of the time when people are pissed off, they usually, or when somebody is oppressed and they have a chance to, you know, retaliate and say, you'll always hear, so who the hell do you think you are, you know? So who are you, if you were to explain to a person how they can literally put this in a microscope and get to dissect? So this is Boniface, and Boniface is this and this and this. So this is who I identify as in society. Apart from Boniface, a teacher by profession, a brother or a sister.
In accordance with today's theme, being a man or being male, a male is a person who is designed to lead, to be responsible, and to be a provider of the family. And for you to do this, for you to teach your friends, your mates of what you're expected in this life, what is the expectation of being a man in this life, then you have to be vicious enough. You have to be a visionary youth, you have to be a visionary person, and you have to be confident about tomorrow. So that is basically what being a male is. Let me tell you, in as much as we advocate for the women's right, our beloved women, but no woman would want to be with a weak man. No woman would want to be with a man having no ambition, a man who lacks confidence in themselves. So that is what we are supposed to tell people. In as much as we may not be sure of what tomorrow holds, but only God, Christ, or nature knows, but we have to be confident that we have entrusted our tomorrow with this vision that we are having, with this goal that we've set. Yeah. So. And the social media is something that has actually been misused instead of using it appropriately to uplift our lives as youths and as the males. Yeah, we need to go out to the social media and show people our skills, but not to fake lives of like owning things that we do not actually own in real life. Yeah, maybe we might be doing this to be loved or for a certain beautiful damsel somewhere to fall for you. But I really want male to do what they were actually created to do. You know, there are some natural laws that you can never change. If you're a man, but you can't provide anything, yet there are no problems. You're waiting upon your wife or your girlfriend or your sister or your mom to like provide everything, and you're a mom. Society is not going to respect you. So why don't we use this social media to carry out awareness on the roles of male? Why don't we blog for our businesses that we are doing, so that when another man somewhere sees it, they learn from that, and basically they are going to be eager to start their business. Why don't you teach people about IT tech skills? And why don't we teach people about being a responsible man? And why don't we tell men that, no, you don't have to die. There is nowhere written in the Bible that men don't cry. Even in the holy books, even the Quran, and even in the Holy Bible, Christ wept. I think that is John 11:35. So, male actually deserve to lead. Thank you.
But I think maybe we should dissect into what are some of the things that make the identity of a person. Apart from, I said, for example, you're in a lineup, Isaac, youth leader, author, Ezra, doctor / these are just outside professional titles, but inside, who do you view yourself as a person? I think that is the response I wanted. Outside the things, would say the components that, in the world, physically, what we see that identify you as a person, like just knowing internally, this is who I know I am in the world. Maybe to make it easier, do you believe spirituality should be a component in accompanying the journey of a person to understanding who they are?
Yeah, that is basically true. Let me give you a very brief story to in a nutshell, summarize the answer to your question. Spirituality is real, my friend. Human beings are made of 3 basic components. That is your spirit, your soul. Your soul carries your feelings, emotions, and thoughts, right? But your spirit is now that breath of life that has been connected to your feelings, emotions, and thought. And then we have the physical body. Yeah, you see, sometimes you can be sleeping, lying on your bed, but you are dreaming something that is seeming so real. You are in coast and you are doing some things, you can touch other things, and nobody basically knows what happens in the after this life in the body of a human being. And everything literally began in this Al-Kebulan, Africa. And there is basically no white man. Everybody was black as people were created, and people left due to exploration to other countries, and you see the continental drift and all that, and due to climatic conditions that resulted into genetic modifications interfering with the DNA, and therefore we had whites, we had some people speaking in different accents because of the environment that you aforementioned really affects what someone is. So spirituality, we found those ancestors who are first created here. I believe Eden was somewhere in Africa. It simply means the origin of man, where man was first made. And these people taught about believing in yourself, praying and manifesting. So your spirit, you have to be confident. Can we say that your head is confident? Can we say that your hand is confident? I am confident. I. Who is the I? It is the you inside this body. So spirituality really means a lot when it comes to this
defining identity.
Sure.
Okay, let me jump on to you, Ezra. With what he has said, in society today, there's a lot of bizarre incidents we've seen happening, but then the major part is male suicide. And actually, in the conversation about the TED Talk, I pointed out to you, Fraser Smith said 1/3 of men are in therapy right now, 1/3 of the male population in the world. That accounts for 78% of the suicides that have been reported in mainstream media, digitally, as a statistic. When you look at that, some of the things that cause us men to lose our identity, do you believe that societal driven or it's self-driven? Because I also believe there's a possibility for us men, we self-inflict pain. And I believe it also dates back or stems from a point of trauma that results maybe from a missing father or a missing mother, or both of them were there but chaotic, or like they never played fully the roles of a father figure and a mother figure that could have contributed to making this, you know, gentleman or this man a whole person who is able to fully stand on his own as a man, functional.
I think we are flipping the coin. We look at both sides, that as much as we are mounting pressure on the society is doing this, society is defining a man like this. I think now, because we're looking at social media and everything, one of the main factors as to why men, because most of the time suicide cases are always not a matter of a person being lonely, that they woke up in the morning and they decided to end their lives. It's something that has been happening all through, and I like the way you put it, that it's out of childhood trauma and everything. But now we're looking at also the case of social media. You go to TikTok right now, you go to X, you go to Facebook. I think those are the main ones that people, Instagram. You go to all these social media and you meet many men that you're looking up to. And as a young person, I think even right now, the ages between 18 to 30 are defining moment for young men, because you're talking about men. Because it's at that moment that you're trying to find a gauge in life. You're trying to look at a person that someday I want to become like this guy. And the more that you convince yourself like that, forgetting that this guy is a product principle of a journey that he has been through. And most of us young people, we are not ready to go through that journey. Meet any successful business person, meet any successful, we that are interested in leadership, successful leaders in this country or even in the world. It's been a process. Someone did not wake up in the morning and flip, then an MP, flip.
Overnight success.
Yeah, it's not an overnight success, it's a journey. And so when it comes to personal perception, I think many young people are not ready for that journey. So you mount unnecessary pressure on yourself. You say like, next week I have to be rich. That's why the things like you see forex traders and everything. You're looking at them.
What is it with forex?
Cars.
By the way?
You're looking at them with
There's
cars,
an upburst of
Mercedes,
forex traders,
and binary trading and everything, especially on TikTok.
But I believe they are good ventures.
Yeah, they're good
there's
ventures,
people
by
who
the
are
way,
genuinely
because
making money out of forex trading.
But the idea that many young people, many of, not everyone of course, but many of these people, the idea that they've sold on social media to young people is that is an instant, like I can go to forex.
It's a quick fix to make a million, right?
To end poverty. Yeah, that's what
Which
I'm
is
saying.
not true, actually.
Which is not true. If you meet good ones, they will tell you it's a skill. I've mastered this skill in like 4 years. And you meet a young person, you know, someone is trading, and you know, I follow sometimes, someone is trading and in 30 seconds someone has made 500K, and you're like, oh Jesus Christ, that salary as a teacher, like 500K.
And that would actually pressure someone else to,
so with that,
but then they also have flashy cars.
Yeah, and flashy cars, Mercedes, GLEs. And in fact, not just flash cars, they're changing them daily.
Yeah.
So you see,
so what is happening with these guys? Anyways, it's an interesting documentary to be filmed someday.
Yeah. So that unnecessary pressure mounted on people that we are looking up to, and especially now, allow me to talk on the issue of spirituality, because as men we also have to find, like, you know, there is not first place that you're the first one to venture into. Yeah, there's someone who is holding the key to where
what you're doing has also been done.
Has also been done.
Yeah.
Well, you heard that you just woke up in the morning, someone did not sleep the whole night. So there's someone here. Of course, as a young person, you should have a mentor. And I think the best mentors are found in religious places, not just Christianity, but I think these are people, because as a man, if I place God as a lead, you know how Paul says it in the Bible, that follow me as I follow Christ, you know that aspect. If I place myself as a lead, God as a lead, I think it will be easy for even my family, my children, my spouse to follow that lead.
Sure.
So I think it's an aspect of also looking at the right mentors in the right place, not just unnecessary people, because someone is maybe achieving an overnight success, you think is the same. Yeah,
or you don't know what
they've
done to actually be where they are. I was actually checking out, I think this was on X, Grok, on Grok, but then we'll get to that. When you look at some of the troubles or the wahalas men go through, I believe it also stems back from a point of you are either parented well or not parented well, and I'll pick your insights on it as well. There's that issue of a father figure, mother figure, who should have, or who took care of you and mentored you and nourished you, and you developed to become a fully fledged man. So when you see half of, I'll say, irresponsible behavior that's displayed by, you know, young men that probably they never had, you know, a father figure to look up to. Do you believe as well parents are to blame for the mishaps we are seeing in some of these, you know, weird and just wild, interesting, as well as insane behaviors that are being exhibited by young gentlemen? Would you blame parents as well, or would you say they have a huge role in putting together forces that should streamline the trajectory of this man?
Yeah, I was reading a book and it said that it's not how the mistake that a child has done, it's how you correct that matters. If a child has done a mistake and maybe ameangusha glass or something, and the mother is all over shouting, you know, that child will go back at the back of his mind, low self-esteem. But now to your question, I think parents have a huge role to play because in the personal upbringing of children, because the child, the first thing they see is their mother or father. And in our society today, especially right now, there is an outbreak of broken families, baby mamas all over social media, drama, I don't know, all that.
Single mother, baby mothers, baby mama, baby daddy drama.
So we are raising a lot of children without fatherhood figures. So I don't know how a father should behave because I've never seen one. Of course, we have many. Shout out to the ladies who are playing.
You never had a father figure?
No, I have one. I have a father. So I'm saying to a person who has grown without a father figure in their life, no uncles ran away.
Do you believe something is missing in their life? If somebody grew up without a father or a mother?
Very much.
There's always something missing in their life.
100%. Because you don't know how father should behave. I've seen the way my dad loves my mom. Of course, that is the way.
So it's been a demonstration in the representation
I've seen the way my dad treats me when I'm wrong. I've seen the way my dad treats our children, my brothers, when they are wrong. That is a likelihood I'll treat. I've seen how he carries himself even financially, because a man, one of the grounds is also finance.
Have you seen him when he's angry?
Yeah, I've also seen him when he's angry.
Does he respond well?
No, he's always silent. So
oh, nice. That's a good one.
He's always silent.
It's more of baby boomers who they're silent, but the Gen Zs, they are retaliating and shooting and blowing guns. I'd like to pick your insight on the same. Do you feel like parents have a huge role?
Yeah. Thank you so much for that question. I think that is a very peculiar one. It's a fantabulous one at the same time, different from any other. You know, right? People currently fear to ask that question. Our parents failing or not, you know, the society has also taught us to respect our parents. It is a natural law, whether you believe in God or not. Yeah, but of course we are all sure that all this began from somewhere, and that's why I believe in God. We were designed to be raised as young children by our parents, and therefore, in accordance with today's theme, if you grow up minus a father figure, my friend, there can be a challenge. You'll need a lot to cope up with the society, to be a responsible person if you are a male, because as my friend has said, if something happens and you only have the mom, at times, maybe when you've done a mistake, the environment, the condition of the house might not be well, it might not be okay. But if the father is in, just as I have defined what a man is, a man, you're supposed to lead. A man, you're supposed to be a provider and take care of the family, And you're supposed to be confident and be as a role model to your children and also to the society. So if somebody has grown minus a father figure, you find maybe someone is growing without confidence. Maybe someone is growing minus knowing what a man is supposed to be like. So you find in the case of anything little, then boom, they are shouting and making noise and they don't know where to start from. But someone who has realized that they lack a male figure in their life, not because they decided, because some have found themselves orphans, some, maybe the mom found them in this tough economy somewhere with maybe someone who even divorced the mom at a very early age or just a boyfriend. But what do we need to tell these young males and these young girls? We need to tell them that they need to seek for a father figure. Let them have role models. People, especially as my friend said, in the religious section, we have people who can really lead. And we also have in the society those men who made it in life. We are supposed to consult. My friend, you've reached here. We are supposed to seek for audience instead of just going to like party every time. Sometimes let us go and request these prominent people in the society that, may I have a talk with you? May I know how you reached to this level? You should also behave yourself and ensure that for you to realize success, then you have to be disciplined. You have to be respectful. And discipline is a two-way thing. As someone who has grown minus parents, myself, I am an example of somebody who grew right from a young age without parents, yeah? But what taught me to be a man enough and what taught me to be a responsible person in the society, first is my God. 2 is the people in the religious group. 3 are the teachers. 4 are the lawyers. And some of the politicians. Not every politicians are evil. There are some people who are actually very responsible and they have very good families and they can lead. So that is basically somebody who has grown minus a father figure. They should do, but they should not ignore that. If you ignore that, it might be a mess and you might not realize what being a man is in the current society.
Okay, I've remembered something. There's a Yoruba saying that goes, a man is who his mother makes him, meaning that, you know, the first woman that you experience, your mother, determines the rest of lifetime experiences of women. So she's a demonstration and a representation of women to you. So when that is lacking at such a young age, in your formative years as a child, what do you believe are the components that could possibly be lacking in your future life as an adult? Because also, I think there was a reality show called Fix My Life where there was this guy who was being fixed by I think the doctor called Yamba. So because the mother was not there, I think the mother was a drug addict and violent, yeah? So this guy has always attracted, you know, women who are violent, loud, you know, the American culture. So he's used to that, you know, system of toxic, black, verbal, drug addict and whatnot, explosive. Yeah. Do you believe as well maybe that facet of you that was never there has at some point cropped up and deep down you can feel, maybe if I would have had a mom, I'd have done better here, or probably I'd be feeling this way because at least I had that feminine energy from my own mother. Yeah, I don't know if you disagree or agree.
I actually agree. In as much as we are speaking about males, a man and a woman are one thing. When a lady leaves their paternal home to come and stay with the man in his paternal home, these people become one. And you at times find that their behavior are going to start correlating. Yeah, maybe sometimes they behave in a similar way, even appearance at times. Yeah, a certain percentage. Yeah. So what do I mean? Our women in the society really play a key role in shaping what a man becomes, what their children become. Why? You know, when a woman is breastfeeding this son of theirs, yeah, the baby is actually partaking of the delicacies from the mom's breast while at a right angle checking at the mom's eye, yeah, when the mom says Toto, daddy and all that. And as the baby starts to crawl, yeah, they call, you hear them starting to say Nana, Mama, and Baba, and all that.
Actually, the first word is usually Mama.
Yeah, it is. It is
my child.
Yeah, and the mom is the one who is going to tell the Baba who was standing in front of the baby, no, that is what Mama, that is Baba, and they start Baba.
Yeah. Actually, my question was, do you feel like there's something missing in your life since you did not grow up with a mom?
Yeah, I'm coming into that. Yeah, you find if you have grown minus a mom totally, then in the near future you may not even know how to treat women. Yeah, it can even be hard for you to cope up
in your life,
with a lady. Now let me say this, as I aforementioned.
You're running away from the question. I just wanted you to say, yes. Have you found issues treating?
Yes, yes, but I want to
I like the way you're giving
point
me
it out,
slides of explanation. I just wanted, is it yes or no? Have you found
it has
issues?
Happened, but this is how I managed
you're working on it, yeah?
This is how I managed to like survive this. I used to consult people, and I actually love women so much. Yeah, I used to stay with my grandmother so many times. She like represented my mom, and you know those old people, they also know how to teach, and that is where I learned how to cook. And maybe one day my woman would not make noise. You don't even know how to make ugali, simple thing. Yeah, you don't even know how to wash the dishes. Yeah, so a woman plays a very key role in the life of what their
A
son
mother
becomes.
specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you'd feel that, you'd wish you ever had that experience, a motherly experience in your childhood.
Yeah, sure,
It's
sure.
something you pray, you wish you had.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's true.
which is a good thing, and I support that.
Yeah.
But then, when you look from his experience as well, when you look at most broken, I don't know if we can use the word broken to explain that part. The ones who consider themselves broken, because I don't know what it feels to say or introduce yourself that I am broken, yeah. But possibly it could be because of the things a man has gone through. For the young men that you would say, this is a broken man. Do you believe missing a certain, because I believe also experiencing masculine energy and feminine energy contributes into making a person, even ladies. In fact, they say daughters are their father's favorite, yeah? And sons are their mother's favorite. So probably if you missed that, there's always a component of you that's missing. And maybe now that you're a fully blown adult, you should start nurturing yourself again and healing your inner child. Do you believe most men actually ignore that part and they just walk into an institution? Let's say, for example, marriage. He said about treating women. You don't know how to treat women. You never experience having a feminine figure in your life. So you walked into this clueless and you're just figuring it out as it falls down, you pick up, yeah? Because you're also trying to learn life on your own. And since there's no example you never had, you have to do things without, I don't know if it's a script or an example or a demonstration that guides you there.
Yeah, I think the main problem with men, I think something we've just thrown around is that men are not ready to be vulnerable enough to learn.
Yeah.
So as much as they missed those single aspects in your foundation, maybe from these, what have you, broken families and all that, which is not, of course, someone's liking or whatever. So we are not putting them in a tight corner or anything. But for a man to come out, and I think because you're even talking about social media, we have raw examples of men. Let me talk of people who are a success or considered a success by the society. And then something happened. Life things happen. Things do happen in life. And someone is back to the ground again, depressed. And they decide to come out on social media and say, man, I need help. I need financial help. Look at all the cases we've been having even as a country of such kind of people and how the society poured all the blame on them. I think that is the main issue. So I think the issue of
even just admitting as a man,
that
I
made a mistake.
As a father,
very
I was
difficult.
not present because I was an alcoholic. Or I was dating many other women and it affected my attention. Like we've not seen such examples actually. We've seen women say, you know what, this baby daddy affected me, traumatized me. That's why I abandoned him and went to this because he was loving and caring. Women are easily vulnerable, and I agree. You never see men say that.
I'm wrong. And I think it also boils down to how people were raised, even just in school, parents around. This is not a new statement. Even in classroom, a teacher maybe punishes you and you start crying as early as class 3. What did the teacher tell you? Wewe ni mwanaume unalia nini? So I think these building ingredients all contribute to that. And then also away from even what we're talking about, I think one of the factors that people always run away from is you're told to be a man. And the society and social media offers us different perspectives of men. Amerix is on Twitter with his own perspective. I love Jacob Elliott on Facebook with his own perspective. I love Silas Nachwani, Andrew Kibe. Everyone is coming.
Has their own version of
their
how
own
to
version
be a man,
of how to be a
which
man.
Could be wrong or right.
Which could be wrong or right. You're not footing. It depends on a person.
So it's from the experience of what they believe a man should be.
What a man should be. There are people today you can't convince them that they can stay with a lady without slapping them a little bit. There are people you can't, by the way. And coming from such a community, I'm not putting a community in, but I know there are communities where men are believed that you have to be ruthless, you have to be tough. I know my grandfather used to be tough to the extent that he steps at the compound and everyone is running away, including the grandmother.
Wow.
Yeah, everyone is running away.
Including chickens,
everyone.
And cats,
and just a cough. And things are...
So he was Simba.
Yeah. So that is what the society has put us. So when I come to the women around me or even my mother and tell them that, Mom, I think I blundered financially 2 years ago. I had my savings. I used them for the wrong purpose and it put me in a tight corner. I think the response also from the society shows us that it's not every day that you should open up. So and I think as young people, we have to agree that it's okay not to be okay. As a man, you're a human being also. You're not made of wood. You have
Yeah.
feelings and emotions. You could be hurt also as a man. And you know,
And you can be vulnerable by
Yeah,
saying, you know
you ca-
what,
yeah.
today I feel sad. Actually, you've reminded me, there's guests I interviewed here. They said they have a shed where if they click in at home, they say they click that shade of sadness, excitement, anxious, depressive. The family already knows how to deal
How
with,
to deal. That's
with
amazing.
Boniface when he checks in at home from work. Tunajua click red. Hebu tukae kwanza. Kama ni dad, tujue leo dad ana feel vibaya. Inaweza kuwa amedisappointiwa job, ama ameargue na mtu kazini, or something just happened. So I think having such clear outlines of communication can help us, men. But then let's come to crisis. Just admitting. For example, I think there's a clip I watched on TikTok where there's this dude who said he was sexually harassed when he was young. He's in his late 30s right now, and he opened up and said, you know what, this and this happened to me, but the comments and the backlash and the shaming. There's another one who said he legulua, you know, there were so many things, you know, that were said there. But this person is opening up about a very traumatic and a life-changing experience that altered, you know, their being in their early formative years. Maybe the vulnerability circle needs to be taught in the men's arena, so that we need to understand that, you know what, vulnerability does not make you weak. When you open up about, you know, not having a mother figure and having issues with women, does not mean that you're a bad person or you're weak. It just shows that it's life, it happened to you, and you still have chance to get better, and it's organic. Before I come to you, just lastly.
I think the last aspect of it, so I think us solving this crisis is that you position yourself in a way that even if you open up, you know, you're opening up. Opening up is not enough, but opening up to the right people, to the right systems. Because if you see social media is a toxic place for you to open up, how many people have deactivated their social media handles because of the comments they received? Especially, and nobody shaming is not just on women alone, also men. Mtu una ndevu, watu.
By the way,
people you're
point,
not physique
it's
enough.
like there's a template for what a man should sound,
you should
looks
be lean,
like, you know,
big body and all that.
What do you think, Boniface?
Instead of the society telling men that you are a man yet you're crying, I think we should revert into using men should be emotional intellect. We should actually be emotionally intelligent. So you see, we as men, we are supposed to know that our women deserve to be treated better. We are supposed to know that we do not need to react as a bomb explodes. We are supposed to be calm. We are supposed to stay guided by our emotions and the way we respond to things. As a leader and as a teacher and as the head of your family and as the provider, you're supposed to be having emotional intelligence. You're not supposed to be abusing kids everywhere.
And how do you learn to be emotionally intelligent as a man? I think he gave a good example of the way his dad reacts when he's angry. He said his dad is always silent. I think that's a good lesson.
Well, the foundation of this should be at schools. Instead of a teacher caning a boy child and telling them you are crying, unalia na we ni mwanaume, they should tell them you are supposed to be having what is called emotional intelligence. If we replace that word by emotional intelligence, that it becomes a stepping stone into knowing what you're supposed to do. And we are supposed to teach our sons at a young age values. You know, what you feed a child while they're still young, that is what they'll emulate when they grow up, when they become adults in the society. So we are supposed to tell our kids of the responsible behavior in the society. We are supposed to educate them on the key values that they need to have, just as our ancestors and our forefathers used to sit beneath very huge trees, near the shrines, and they would teach the young boys aside and they would teach girls aside. On this issue of emotions and what is happening in the social media, as you just said, that you'd see a man reporting their case, but the comments, my friend, they hit you with a huge thud. What can we do? We are supposed to speak to these respective groups. Let's tell men that my friend, when you see a man is being humiliated, let us go in and show them support, because men are also human beings, and human beings have souls, and the soul is where we have the feelings, emotions, and all that intelligence. So we are not supposed to ignore them. Let us use the social media responsibly to educate the society.
All right, I want you to react to these memes. They're from Masculine Based. I was actually trying to line them up. The first one says, a mature man doesn't force anyone to choose him. He is okay with not being accepted, invited, included, or considered. Become that man. I don't know how this visible is to being a man, but you know, you react. And then another one, it says, listen, bro, if you don't separate yourself from distractions, your distractions will separate you from your goals. So this is just preaching to a man, okay? Another one says, you're a dangerous man if you can go through things alone and come back richer, fit, and even smarter. I think this is on the last one. There are like 12 of them. Let me just sample this. Another one says, never disrespect a man when he is at his lowest. A man never forgets disrespect. It's either buried deep in his heart or he uses it as revenge. Yeah, I'd like to pick your insight on either.
Let me start from the last one, the last line. I mean, it hit so hard. Yeah, you see, respect is a two-way tool. You respect me, I respect you back. But if you respected someone and they disrespected you, then, you know, everybody has their own traits. And in the society, we have people who are having values that really makes the society thrives better. And we have some people who are actually having unteachable spirits. So you are supposed to move on. You don't need to hold grudges, because grudge itself is a poison to your heart. So when you bury that disrespect that they showed you, you're actually going to make your heart to carry a very huge burden. Whatever you are supposed to do, I said you are supposed to be an emotional intellect. Just forget about it. Tenda wema nenda zako. You showed them respect. They never showed you any. So nature doesn't forget, and it is time, and it is our consciousness. Nature will pay that back. You tenda wema nenda zako.
Okay, Ezra?
To pick up from where he has left, I think that the last one, that a man never forgets how it's respected. I think it's so true.
Within,
yeah,
uses it as revenge.
Yeah, I think it's so true.
I think it's disrespect mostly from a lady.
Yeah, that is what I'm heading to, in fact, because most of the time, 100%, that is when it comes to ladies, you know, that I don't know matters of relationships so well. But when it comes to maybe you're in a relationship with someone, you made a blunder somewhere, and you're them, you guys still love each other. After 2 years, after 3 years, I think I've watched a lot of movies where after the lady constantly reminds the man, no, nakuanga tu mjinga hivyo. No, you know, and it develops in the heart. So I think it's so true, according to me. But also to move away from that, how can you solve that as a man? I think it's finding the right ventures. I think it's, you know, us men creating a forum. I saw a good forum called Cadet something, fellowship on TikTok or something, where men join together, we sing together, we fellowship together, we talk. Go to avenues that expose you to the right people that you can talk to, if they're the right environment. Read books. There's so many good books about being man. There is one, I think the best one, called Manly Men. There is Manly Men, Unplugged. All these books that help you talk about masculinity. Podcast. Yeah, exactly. Such places, such as listen to podcasts, expose yourself to the right material, such that when it comes to matters of emotions and everything to deal with that, you know how to react, you know how to deal with those things. So you expose yourself to the right resource.
But then now issues crisis, because how is a man expected to deal with, let's say, loss, heartbreak, disappointment at work, or being laid off, or being rejected? I think the biggest part as well is rejection from a lady, or even other men as well. It could be a project you're pitching, but you received, you know, instant repudiation. So how can men deal with that? You know, if you were to give it in your own lenses of understanding, how can you process rejection, disappointment, resentment? Because it happens to everyone in life. And I don't think it's... And then I also hear men have to fight to be accepted. So it's a tough world for the boy child. Because if a lady doesn't accept you, she's not dating you. If your family does not accept your behavior, they're not welcoming you on board. Different from ladies where they'll say, you know, I need them, she'll be vulnerable, or she'll be touched. But for a man, they'll be like, you're an animal, you'll survive, there's a bit of a contradiction there.
Yeah, I think it's not easy as it may sound that it's easy to accept rejection. I've been rejected several times and I don't think it was easy. Yeah, especially if you're at your lowest.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, our society has placed us in a place and social media has placed us in a place. And you know, women are biggest contributors of this. Go to the comments of guys who are rich on TikTok. Na wewe unaishi kwa single room. You would never, it will kill your self-esteem. It will humble you to the core because everyone is like praising these guys and everything. So, and the ideas of men is that I'm looking for money so that I can get a girl or something or a wife. So, and most of the times, this kind of men with, you knew that nikifika hiyo level ya success naweza pata anyone I want. Ukifika hiyo level and ukwe rejected, this is the kind of people who will go to the bus clubbing whole night, all day, your life won't amount to anything. I think the biggest way to solve it is understanding that sometimes rejections do happen. It's not, not everyone can accept you. You're not Jesus. Even money is not accepted by everyone. Yeah.
Okay. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd like to punch that line by just a simple proverb. Every dog has its own day. So if you are rejected today, you should not commit suicide because you've been rejected. Your day is actually coming. Even madmen have wives. Yeah. And in the society, even the most low-graded people, the infinite ones, those people are married. And you would find maybe someone who is a very short guy in the society has married a very beautiful, lovely woman, a very charming girl. And you ask yourself, how? Yeah, it is not miracle. The reality is that every dog has got its own day. Your time will come. And if somebody rejected you, it's simple. The nature dictates they were not meant for you. So we are actually supposed to educate our boys that you are going to expect these girls, you are going to expect these, and never lose hope, never give up. As a man, you are supposed to be visionary enough, be confident in yourself, and continue pursuing your ambitions and goals.
Yeah.
So we are supposed to live by that.
So accept rejection, yeah.
Sure.
But I think processing it is another way. There's people who process it as the world is tumbling down and boom, I'm done. So you have 1 second to say social media, nothing else. Where if you're not, yeah, we move on to the next. You're on social media?
Yeah.
Please say it very fast.
Yes.
1 second.
On Instagram,
Just
Facebook,
one.
Twitter. Boniface Ochieng Ododa.
Okay, yours?
Ezra MK on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram.
So, thank you so much, guys. I wish maybe we could talk about toxic masculinity, defining masculinity, how sexuality comes into play and whatnot, but maybe you can have a part 2 later on. But thank you guys for sharing your insights. It's been incredible and riveting to engage with you guys.
We are grateful.
All right, so thank you to you too for watching us from exactly 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. We'll absolutely see you tomorrow, bright and early, right here. My good name is Brian Sakwa at Brian Sakwa Online at Y254 channel. See you tomorrow.